What is happening, guys? I've wanted to make this video for quite some time now, and I think it's time. So there's been a battle in the fishing industry between a few brands of who makes the best reels. Now, my top three are Daiwa, Shimano, and Penn. We're gonna leave Penn out of this one because they're just not up there with Shimano and Daiwa right now. So today's video, we're gonna talk about Daiwa versus Shimano and what should you buy. It is no secret on my channel, if you have watched my videos at all I use is Daiwa. And it used to be the opposite way for me. I used to run only Shimanos. I would buy only Shimanos because I thought Shimano was the best and all that. My mind changed over the years. When I started doing research, I started seeing people use more Daiwas, and Daiwas started coming out with all this crazy good stuff for less. You don't have to pay $200 to $300 or more to get a good quality reel. But I'm not gonna go too far into that. I'll get to that later on. I'm just gonna start out with the origins of these companies. Daiwa versus Shimano. Where are they manufactured? Where are their factories? Now, these two companies are very special because they're the only companies that have their own factories. But there is a reason why I still prefer Daiwa over Shimano, and that is the locations of where these companies are manufacturing. So the main locations for Daiwa are Japan, the UK, and they didn't really specify when I did the research, but Far East countries. So like Malaysia and probably a few other countries, probably some in China. But Shimano, their main ones are China. Keep in mind that the main manufacturing points, China, Singapore, and Malaysia. Daiwa focuses more on Japan and the UK, where they just take so much pride in their reels and really anything that they produce. So everything's more fine-tuned. They pay more attention to detail, and it really helps create a quality product for the consumer. However, with Shimano, they used to manufacture in Japan mainly, and they just stopped doing it with their cheaper products. So that's why you have to pay so much more. If you do the research, like, they still manufacture high-end products, like the Stellas, probably the Twin Powers as well. They still manufacture that stuff in Japan, but you have to pay big bucks to get that stuff from Japan. So long story short, Daiwa is making a better product at a lower price point, while Shimano, they have become cheaper nowadays, and they're starting to put together a cheaper product. I mean, and their prices, they're just overpriced in my opinion. I will go over specific products that Daiwa and Shimano make. Don't get me wrong, Shimano still makes some great stuff, but there's select ones that I would recommend if you are gonna stick with Shimano. With Daiwa, they're making LT models, they're making reels with mag seal now for $100. I mean, that's just so hard to beat, which Shimano, they're just not doing. One thing Shimano is doing that they are making at a lower price point is their DC models, and that's in their bait casters, obviously. Their SLX, the ever popular new SLX at 2019 iCast of freaking award winners. Shimano's always the award winners because you know how biased it is. Shimano is the fanboy freaking attractant. So now I am gonna go over some real comparisons. Now, if you think I'm just gonna say Daiwa's the best one in every category, then just go ahead and move on from this video, because there are some reels out there. There's some reels out there that Shimano make that they come really close to Daiwa or they beat them. So if you want to know which ones that I'm not biased against, go ahead and keep watching. So I'm going to cover every price point. I'm going to go from $20 all the way to freaking $1,000, all the way up to the Saltigas and Stellas. So the first comparison I'm going to do is the Daiwa Sweetfire versus the Shimano Sienna FI. These are each $30, and quite honestly, you can't go wrong with either one of them. They're really the only difference that I see is that one has one ball bearing plus a roller bearing, one has 3 ball bearings plus a roller bearing. There's really not a whole lot you can defer between two reels at $30 price points, but the Daiwa Sweetfire does lose at the bearing perspective, which only has 1 ball bearing. So if that's something you want to consider, Maybe it makes it a little bit smoother, I don't know. If I were to choose which reel to take home, it would obviously be the Daiwa Sweepfire, because you just look at that thing, it looks a lot better than the stupid red Sienna. Like, I don't know why they chose red, the thing looks just absolutely stupid. But if you want those extra ball bearings, go ahead and get it. They're both 30 bucks. They'll probably last for about the same amount of time, so yeah, that's a $30 price point. So my next comparison I want to do is the Daiwa Legacy. Yes, I am fully aware that I screwed that name up as well. It's Legalis versus the Shimano Sahara FI. Now, I've used Saharas before, and my dad actually has a Legacy in his arsenal, and I can tell you right now the Legacy beats the Sahara all day long. The Sahara is absolutely garbage. The thing does not last long. It is not worth 80 to 90 bucks. However, my dad's been using his Daiwa Legacy for a while, and you know, he's had no problems with it. So the thing's super smooth. It does lose a little bit it does start to have a little bit more play in the handle, which, you know, a lot of people kind of bugs them, and it kind of bugs me as well. But for 70 bucks, you're not going to get that fine tuning that you would expect in a higher end reel. Legacy versus the Sahara. Legacy obviously wins. So the next comparison we have up is the Daiwa BG and the Shimano Naski. Which one do you think is going to win? If you said the Shimano Naski, you're dead wrong, because the Daiwa BG beats everything for the price, for the quality. It's just the best reel you can buy for the money. Right now, it is just the reel to choose, especially if you're in that price point. I've had two 2500s, three 3Ks, and a 5K. And I can tell you right now, I had problems with none of them. But I will say, I put every single one of those reels to the test, especially the 2500s. I brought those things everywhere with me. I took them kayak fishing, I took them on the boat, I took those things out in storms, I took them out land fishing. I did everything with those 2500s, and they handled everything that I threw at them. Now onto the Shimano Naski. This is also a great reel. This is honestly one of the best reels that Shimano makes for the money. I have had almost zero complaints from my dad that has two of them. People online that I've asked, I've heard almost no complaints. It's a great reel, but it just does not have the same rigidity and just the same class as the BG almost. So this is my dad's Shimano Naski 2500 right here. There are a few things that I will point out that the Daiwa BG hasn't beat. Daiwa, with all their reels, they always focus on thicker bale wire so the things don't bend and they don't break. What Shimano doesn't focus on is the bale wires. Every time I go to any place like Academy and I look at their display, all of Shimano's reels, they all have bent bale wires. And another thing is the jointed handle right here. Daiwa BG does not have that, so there's less room for play. So the next comparison I have for you guys, Daiwa Procyon versus the Shimano Ultegra. Procyon just beats it in every fashion. Not because it's so great, it's honestly because there's nothing special about the Shimano Ultegra. That's all I gotta say. And you just look at the Daiwa Procyon and you look at the thing with all silver. The thing just looks freaking sick. I took a dive off the boat last time I was out, and the reel went with me into the water, and the thing is still smooth as butter, like nothing ever happened. No max seal or anything, just straight up a beast of a reel. At the $200 price point, we have the Daiwa Saltus Back Bay, and we have the Shimano Stratic FL. The Shimano Stratic FL is the biggest fanboy reel of all time. And it really, just honestly, it annoys the hell out of me. Because there is not much special about this reel. They claim all this lightweightness, the freaking trickle down technology from the Stellas. There's really, I had so many people. I used to work at West Marine, and the people, especially the 5000, people always complain about those things getting smoked by big fish, especially the drags. I mean, the drags were just trash. Especially, it's mainly the 5000s, the smaller ones like the 1000s, the 2500s. Those are fine. just the bigger sizes like the 5,000, the 4,000, they couldn't handle the amount of pressure that they were rated for. The Saltus back bays from Daiwa has mag seal. It's a tough reel, it's an LT, but I've also heard a lot of complaints from that reel as well. Where I work, I see a lot of captains driving by, and I get to talk to a few of them, and I overheard one guy talking trash about Daiwa and why he switched to Shimano and all that. He used to have those back bays as his main setups, and he said they're just absolutely trash. So I'll give this round to Shimano, mainly because of all the popularity and how much people are just praising about this reel. So I'll just go ahead and give this round to the Shimano Stratic FL. Didn't really want to do it. It's a close call, but if I had to buy one of those reels, I would go with the FL. So the next comparison that I'm going to do is the Daiwa Ballistic and the Shimano CI4 Plus. It's only a $30 difference between the last comparison, but it's worth the comparison since these are two really popular reels. The Daiwa Ballistic LT has corrosion resistant ball bearings and mag seal. What does the CI4 Plus have? This. Now there's a couple things that I want to mention specifically. First is Core Protect, which Core Protect is absolutely trash. It does not live up to the hype that Shimano has set for it. It does not protect the reel as good as they say, and it is not nearly as good as Mag Seal or X Protect. And the other main thing I want to talk about in this reel is the supposedly great bearings that will protect it from salt water. These bearings are not saltwater proof. They are nothing compared to the Daiwa mag seal or corrosion resistant bearings, especially in the ballistic. If you dunk this reel in salt water and you dunk the ballistic in salt water, guaranteed the ballistic will withstand it better. Now, don't get me wrong, the CI4 Plus is still a great reel, but just with my experience and from what I've heard from the people that have used the reels with the same technology and the same bearings, Core Protect and all that, I just don't see this reel being as good as the ballistic. From what I see, the people that get the most use out of this reel specifically are the people that aren't really using it for what it says it can withstand. So they're out there using it for regular inshore fishing and catching inshore fish, redfish, snook, trout, and stuff like that. The people that don't get the most use out of it are the people that truly put it to the test and put the claims to the test of whether these bearings are really saltwater proof. Can they take a dunk in salt water? To me, they cannot withstand what they say it can withstand. So if you dunk this reel in salt water compared to the ballistic, it just won't hold up as well. Okay, the next comparison, the Daiwa Luvius LT and the Shimano Sustain. Now this comparison has a $50 difference between these two reels. The Shimano Sustain is around $300, the Daiwa Luvius LT is about $350. But I will say this, the Daiwa Luvius is 1, a lot smoother, 2, has corrosion resistant bearings, which definitely hold up better than the Shimano Sustain. But the Shimano Sustain, still a great reel. You take care of it, it'll last, but it will not handle the beating that the Daiwa Luvius can handle. The Daiwa Luvius has 3 corrosion resistant ball bearings and mag seal. The thing is basically indestructible for inshore use. The Shimano Sustain, it'll take 1 drop in the water and the bearings will all just lock up, guaranteed. They probably won't lock up, but I know my buddy Thani, he every time he uses his Sustain, those bearings are screaming. I don't know about you guys, but I take that into consideration, how long those reels can hold their smoothness and how enjoyable they are to use over their lifetime. And that's the main thing with Daiwa that I like better than Shimano. They hold their smoothness over time. Shimano is not the same way. You get one little splash of salt water on it and the bearings start grinding like crazy. And that's the main thing I see with the Sustain with a lot of YouTubers that use it, and I can hear it in the videos. And to me, that does not appeal to me at all. I would not want that Sustain, especially over the Luvius. So the next comparison, at the $400 price point, the Daiwa Certate LT and the Shimano Twin Power XD. The Twin Power brand new 2020 reel. Almost a brand new reel from Shimano. And this one is one of Shimano's best reels that they've ever made. The thing is as smooth as butter, and it has it has twin drag just like the original Twin Power and the bigger model Twin Powers. but they trickled that down to 2500, 3000, and 4000 sizes, which to me, that's just freaking awesome. I love the look of the twin power, and I love the concept of the twin drag. The Daiwa Surte LT, it's just another flagship reel from Daiwa. It's a great reel, has mag seal, corrosion resistant ball bearings, super light, and honestly, I would probably buy that over the Twin Power XD, but it's so close to the Twin Power, like just the appeal and all the components of the reels, it's so close that I have to give these two a tie. So if you're in the market for a $400 reel, Twin Power XD, Surte LT, your choice. And the last comparison we're gonna do is obviously the Daiwa Exist versus the Shimano Stella. Both are great reels, both have corrosion resistant ball bearings, both are super light. You won't even hardly feel those things on your rod, and they both have excellent warranties. You can send in those reels and you'll get them replaced, or if you just get them serviced, you'll get them back within the same week. If there's anything that I will take away from Shimano, is that the Stella, it just doesn't look nearly as good as the Exist, in my opinion. So if it was my choice, I would get the Exist, but like I said, you could really go 50-50 on this. The look is just my preference. A lot of people love the Stella's look, but like I said, that's all up to you. So you're looking for a flagship reel for $800 to $1,000, go with the Exist or Stella. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.